Welcome to the Art Market Podcast. Today I'm here with newcomer and designer Amy Stubbs. Hello Amy, how are you today?
Hello, I'm fine, thank you very much.
And tell the listeners, Amy, what you get with being chosen to be a newcomer.
Well, I'm a recent graduate, so it's great for me because it kind of puts me straight out there into the big wide world, and potential customers will come to me and buy my product. But I get a lot of press, so it's a lot of coverage for me to promote myself as a new designer. And it's just great, really, for a graduate, yeah.
So how did you feel when you found out that you got a free stand and mentoring?
Well, I didn't have to pay for the stand, so that's one good thing, definitely. Yeah. And yeah, just brilliant to have some expertise, knowledge on it, and for them to feed back to me on, things, how I could improve my stall, how I can improve my product, and just, promoting myself as just a newcomer in general. Very excited.
Because when you first start out, it is difficult, and I think it's nice to be given advice and told, the right things to do, and also how to present yourself as well, because when you're out into the marketplace, it's very different from, just doing it yourself in your own space, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely different. I mean, all we got at uni was feeding back to the tutors, so it was kind of all contained in the university. I suppose we went to New Designers in London for the exhibition at the end of the uni course, and that was throwing us into, other people that we'd never met, so it was putting you on the spot a lot. Yeah, it's going to be good to, just get out there and do it again. Yeah. Just develop from then on.
Do you think the art markets is a good kind of stepping stone from university?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's the first art market I've done, so that's a whole new thing for me.
Yeah.
Anyway, before I've done exhibitions, and that was the case of just exhibiting your work, not necessarily for buying, but just to showcase it. So this is, all about selling your product at the end of it.
Yeah, which is completely different, isn't it? It's a different kind of feeling. Tell us, where did you study and what did you study at university?
I studied printed text. Well, it was textile design course in Falmouth, in Cornwall. So it was a long way away from here for me. Yeah, a big trek. But that was a textile course, and it was split into 3 categories. It was printed textiles, weave, or surface pattern. And that was like mixed media, needlework. But I chose to do printed textiles, and I studied that from the second year onwards. So first year was just generally getting an idea of what you might like to go into, and then second year I went into print, and we did a lot of manual print, and we had a digital printer on site as well, so we got to dabble between the two, which was great. But then I kind of channeled myself into digital because I knew that it would be quite a way for me to go when I came out of uni, because I had the contacts, the digital printers that I could print with. So I thought that was the best route for me to go, so I kind of researched into digital print and did it through that way. Yeah, so my course was basically a 3-year course in printed textile design for me.
I really like the design of your work. It's quite a montage. How would you describe your work? What's the process?
My work is kind of inspired. Well, it's inspired originally from the places I go. It's kind of like the journeys I've been on. So everywhere I'll go, if I go to a new place, abroad or in England, anywhere, I will take a workbook with me and just document anything I think can be developed into a design. So I'll also carry like a rubbings book, and I take rubbings wherever I go. I might be in the street and I'll just get down and get a rubbing from the floor. Yeah, because then you can use the texture that you've got from the rubbing into your designs.
I love that.
Yeah, so that's where I get, like, if I've got surface in my design, it's come from a building or, a floor that I've thought, that's a nice texture. I'll take that and put it into my designs. Yeah, it's all hands-on, my work, and, I'll come back home and then study my workbooks again and then review them and develop them into the designs.
So have you always been quite tactile? Was you like that as a child? Did you collect things?
Yeah, I suppose I did. I've always I used to collect a lot of flowers and press them. And I've got lots of florals that I've just collected from various places I've been to, and then pressed them, and then just documented them in a book. So, yeah, I've collected various objects. I think I used to do a bit of stamp collecting when I was young. I like collected anything really, anything that takes my fancy, and then I'll develop my designs from that.
But how do you store all of these collections?
They're in books, almost sketchbook. So I've got a fair few sketchbooks, and it's good because you can always go back to your sketchbooks, and you might not see it at the time, so you can go back and develop an idea that you might not have seen while you were doing that project. So it's like unearthing all of the designs that you might be able to do from them.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's a really good way of processing ideas and thoughts.
Like a library.
Yeah, I think it's brilliant. So what would you say was your inspirations?
My inspirations? It's a hard question to answer, really, because they come from anything and everything. I think I start with a theme that I want to go into, and then I'll research it from there, and then I'll go out and take a lot of photography as well, so that can be used within it. So my inspirations are varied, really. Can be photography, can be artists that are already about, but I like to kind of get my own ideas myself. But then your ideas come from other things, so you can never really say.
So are you kind of a moment person?
Because if I'm around and about and I see something, I'll think, oh yeah, that can be developed. I can document it and then take it from there. But yeah, sometimes it is just out of the blue, so which is a good thing, I suppose. You can just get designing wherever you are.
It's spontaneous. I like it.
Yeah.
What's your favourite piece in your collection?
My favourite piece is, we've always called it Cottage, and that's based on my grandma's. My grandma owns a cottage, a derelict cottage next to her house, and it's last lived in the 1950s. So there's lots and lots of things in there that are untouched really since then, like record players and peeling wallpaper, but 50s designs, and a lot of old magazines as well, women's magazines. So a lot of the inspiration for that was drawn from the cottage, hence we've always called it the cottage. And I went in there and took lots of pictures, lots of photography, and then came away and just developed my ideas from the photography that I'd taken. But it was just nice to be doing a project that was based from home, really. And it was all based on heritage, and I then developed the project, and it went into another one called Into the Garden, and that featured all the elements that were featured within the garden. So I gained pictures of my grandmother in the 1950s, keeping with the 50s theme, and found a lot of pictures of her in the garden during the 1950s. So then I recreated that into a few scarf designs, and they became a modern interpretation of the garden and the cottage. It was just kind of like reliving that moment, really, but into a contemporary version.
How come the house was derelict for so long, and have you still got it?
Yeah, we've still got the house. It's my grandma's still alive, and she still owns the cottage, but it's just been left. She got the cottage with her house, and it's just left for her, really, but she hasn't really done anything with it. It's just a big store cupboard for her, really.
So she's got a house, and then there's a cottage with the house, and she lives in the house, and the cottage is just left. So did she live there at one point? Because is that why there's so much stuff in there?
No, it was a family in the 50s that lived there, and then they left, and then my grandma bought her house, and the cottage came with it, but they didn't do anything with the cottage, so they kind of just left it as it was.
And did they leave all the things in there then?
A few things, a few items, and then my grandma put a few of hers up there, and it's kind of a collection of theirs and hers, and it's just great to wander around and just have a look and see what's there.
It's like a museum. Seems like a museum.
Exactly. It's a bit dusty here and there. It's not a spick and span, but it's great to wander around. I
love the idea that it's just left, and it's got that kind of magic to it, hasn't it? No wonder you were inspired by it.
Yeah, my sister's used the cottage as a standby studio for ceramics at one point, so we've each kind of done our little bit in it, so it's quite, special, really. Yeah.
And, talking about your sister, your sister's Emily Stubbs, who's part of the Art Market team, and also she shows at the shows as well. So does creativity run in your family? Are your parents creative, and is your grandma creative?
Yeah, well, my grandmother, she used to work in the textile mills, and she was quite textile based. She's good with needlework, and embroidery. My granddad isn't artistic really, but so it runs down my grandmother's side. But then on my other side, my other grandma, my granddad is very good with woodwork, and he does a lot of woodwork. He's got a little woodwork house underneath his house. It's a tiny little room, but it's got everything in it that he needs. It's great. And he does really nice, like, love spoons. I don't know whether you've heard of love spoons, but they're basically, it goes back to, I think it's Irish or Scottish, but they all made these spoons that were like just a token of love or anything really.
Oh.
They'd give those to people. So he makes lots of love spoons, and they're great to see, really intricate designs. So, but he makes everything really. Tables, you go into their house and it's everything you see is made by him really. So that's another house that we don't want to lose really, you know, want to keep it as it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I really like that idea actually. I love the idea of love spoons. I think that's beautiful. I mean, let's face it, all your family could get together and have a big exhibition.
Yeah, no, they could.
You know?
Yeah, well, my dad does graphic design, so he's in a different area altogether as well. Yeah, a lot of my early decisions were definitely made by the people that surrounded me. So when I got to uni, I made my own decisions for myself and realised what it was I wanted to do with textiles, and then specialising in silk scarves. So
what will you be showing at the art markets?
I'll be showing my silk scarves mainly. But also I've got 95 by 95 centimetre squared silk scarves. So they're quite big scarves. And then I've done some smaller strips which are 130 centimetres wide, length 23 centimetres. So they're smaller, but they're strips, and they'll be cheaper than the bigger scarves. And then there's some handkerchiefs as well. So they're 33 by 33 centimetres. And I've also got framed artwork, and I'm going to frame some handkerchiefs as well. Yeah, so there'll be, lots of different ways of presenting textiles.
Yes, very good.
Think about what you can do with them.
Yeah.
You could buy the scarf to wear, or you could buy it for a framed art piece as a one-off. Yeah, because all the scarves and the prints are one-off designs, so when you buy it, you are getting a one-of-a-kind, unique piece.
So when are you at the art markets?
I'm on the 13th of November, the second week.
Have you got a website?
Yes, I do. It's www.amystubbs.net. It's currently been refurbished as well, so there's going to be all my silk scarf designs on there.
Is there a shop on your website?
Not yet, but there will be details of all my scarves, and you can contact me through the website. They
definitely need to go on the 13th of November to the art markets and buy your work.
Yeah, go there, because the internet will be up and running. It's just if you want these unique one-offs, then you have to come to the art market, because putting them up on the website is fine, but if somebody buys it off the website, then it won't be at the show. So I'm kind of holding off putting those up on the website. So there's going to be a lot of new designs unveiled at the art market, really.
So your designs have just been at Paris Fashion Week.
Yes, that is correct, and it was an amazing opportunity, really. It started off as a 3-week placement at Whiston & Wright, which is a digital print company in London, in Ealing, and they specialise so they design a lot of prints for fashion garments, and then they send them out to the buyers, and the buyers buy the fabric along with a disc of data, and then they can reproduce that design and make it into products of whatever they like. So basically at the studio I was working on designs to be sent out to buyers, and then at the end of the 3 weeks that I was there, they were going to Paris for the fashion week, so they took the designs that I'd produced along with them to Paris to hopefully sell them. So I'm waiting to hear back from them to see whether they've sold, but we'll wait and see.
Wow.
But yeah, a great opportunity for me to get my designs out there.
Definitely, that's amazing. Oh, it's been lovely speaking to you. Thank you so much, Amy, and look forward to seeing you at the art markets on the 13th of November.
Yes, I look forward to seeing you there too, and everybody else as well.
Thank you. If you would like to know more information about the art markets, go to www.artmarkets.co.uk. We look forward to seeing you there.